Welcome back to Don's Life.
Welcome to the channel.
Thanks for joining us today. This is part 3 of a long overdue video. Back in September this year, we went on a road trip. It was our first car rally with the Alpha Rally crew. It's 3 months later. We actually have a Christmas tree over there in our office. That tells you that a few months has gone by. Now, if you haven't watched the first 2 videos, I'll link them in the description below. Go watch those first so you know what the heck's going on. But this video is about us commentating on our trip back from Vegas. So this is the last day in Vegas. We're leaving the next morning and headed home here in Canada. And let me tell you, it is full of adventure, if not more than what we experienced on the way there. So if you ever want to do a car rally,
be prepared.
Be prepared. Well said. So I hope you enjoy. Hey guys, that's it. We are back on the road. It's the last day. It's going to be a scorcher here too. Just grabbing some Starbucks. Got to get that caffeine for the road. But yeah, well anyway, here we go. Let's see what other antics we can get into on this rally. So unfortunately, we're leaving Las Vegas and it was the hottest day for the week that we were there, and it was the day we were leaving. Would have been a nice day for the pool.
Not that we didn't have beautiful weather.
We did have good weather, but it would have been extra special that day. I just missed the warm weather. We're minus 40 right now here in Canada. Now, like we said in previous videos, you're always stopping for
gas.
Get used to it. Get your snacks, bathroom breaks. It's happening all the time. That's a big part of the rally experience. Although my favorite part is when we get to park. You're waiting for everybody to fuel up because you can't get everyone fueled up simultaneously at most of the gas stations. So you get to chat and catch up with people and go look at camels or whatever might be at the weird gas stations you have in the US. But yeah, a lot of fun. Get used to getting gas every few hours.
So little did we know that this was going to be an event-filled day.
And an event-filled day that it was. We had beautiful weather the whole time, like we were saying earlier, and we had a 10-hour day driving the speed limit to Idaho Falls. Was it 10 hours, 12? It was a long day.
It was a long day.
It was going to be a full day. We planned for it. That was fine.
And we did actually drive the speed limit.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Like all the other videos.
Yeah.
So we get on our way and the weather turns, and this is the start of the events.
So as you can see, Jason and Twyla, who never had their top up all the way from Calgary, Alberta.
There was not a minute that we had seen them with their top up on that
all
whole
the way
drive.
from Calgary all the way to Vegas, they had their top down.
Diehards.
Yeah, and they had to put their top up. It was pouring rain.
Yeah, it doesn't show on camera as much, but trust me, it was raining. It was just about to start raining a lot harder. So we got their top up, but this was just the beginning of the problems. So we were well on our way through Utah at this point, and this is when my tire pressure sensor monitor came on and let me know that one of my rear tires was possibly low on pressure. I have run flats. The benefit there is that if I do get a puncture, as long as it's not too severe, I can lose pressure in the tire and it'll still have enough rigidity and structure that I can drive at a much slower speed and probably get to where I need to safely and get it tended to. A little bit of a spoiler, but watch this. Hey everyone, we are in Payson, Utah, is that right? Mm-hmm. We are eating lunch on the curb here at Big O Tires because the M4 had a blowout. I knew the tires were probably on their last road trip and they didn't quite make it, so my judgment was off. So we got some tires that they had in stock that are a little bit different than what I had before, but the good news is they're the exact same as my winter set. Now in a BMW M4, the rears are 275/35 R19s and the fronts are 255/35 R19s, if I remember correctly. But the winter setup is actually the same as the front, 255/35 R19 all the way around. So we're switching the back two to some 255/35 R19s. So it won't be a big deal. It'll be a little bit narrower and not quite as tall as the previous ones, but the car's rear wheel drive. It's not all wheel drive. We don't have to worry about mixing and matching. In this case, we're not. We're certainly not mixing and matching left to right. So same tires on the same axle. So everything should be good. They're just gonna not match by brand. So is it okay? You're a clothing connoisseur. Is it okay to mix match brands sometimes?
Not with tires.
Not with tires. So you're gonna make fun of me the whole time. Great. Now what might not be clear in that video segment was the fact that when we had our blowout, we had to pull over on the side of the road because the tire was basically flat at that point. We were a quarter mile from this Big O tire and I just went nice and slow, making sure that the rim just rested on the bead of the rubber so we could get all the way there. But what a
lifesaver.
Yeah, what a lifesaver in that case. Like just a fluke, really. And
we just happened to look up and Big O was right there.
We were just like tire shops and it was like closest one. Oh, I can see it past those hedges. So we were quite lucky and quite fortunate. And I thought we had more life in those back wheels. I measured them and the tread depth, there were no cords showing, but there were cords showing in here. And the tread depth on the inside, because that's the way the camber is, they just wear that way. That's how these BMWs are. There was more than enough life, but these roads and some of the speeds that we were going at, they just chew the tires. So
the heat.
just know that the heat too, everything working against us to keep the tires in perfect condition.
So we're back on the road to Idaho Falls. We think we're gonna make some good time.
We're making good time.
We didn't have to speed too much. And then we finally get radio signal with everybody and Ryan gets a flat tire.
Yeah, he didn't have the benefit of run flats. So watch this next part.
But you get fucked up your drivetrain with the wrong time. It's not worth it.
So after seeing Ryan's tires, I thought, well, you know what? My front ones are still better than the rears that I just had replaced. But just to feel better about the whole thing, you get home safely, I'm gonna call ahead to Idaho Falls, another Big O tire actually, see if they got a set that I can buy for the front, have them installed the next morning. So I was lucky, they had some. I booked it, and we were hoping to get to Idaho Falls still, but it wasn't gonna happen, at least not early enough to attend our fancy dinner that was planned.
Right, because they closed at 9.
Yeah, so we had to cancel that reservation because we had to stay nearby in a small town. So when the tow truck driver came to pick up Ryan's car, we would be there to make sure that they could load it, because they're not gonna pick it up without somebody being there, at least like the owner of the vehicle. So to stay together and provide support, that's what we did. We stayed together and we had to eat. And we descended on this tiny little town. I don't even remember the name of it, but we got the attention of all of the local youth, and nobody goes out after 5 p.m.
No.
And even law enforcement wanted to come see what was going on. So enjoy the next segment.
You were on your phone and your +1 came up and started. It's legit, like this.
This is fun. I like it.
Okay, Okay, wait, stop it here. This little restaurant, this hole-in-the-wall pizza place was probably the best food we had all day for sure. But it had like this little dungeon dining area that perfectly fit all of us. Like it was meant for us. We weren't sure if we were gonna get kidnapped and not be able to leave. But it was fun. It was good.
I think it was like an episode of Black Mirror about to kick off.
Yeah.
It's pretty strange.
Best food. Best food though. It was so good.
Good call interrupting this segment to talk about the pizza. It was good. Thanks. Thank you. Well, as you can see, welcoming us outside was the sheriff and those kids I was talking about that were so happy that we had showed up in their town. All of them, including the sheriff, were encouraging us to rev our engines and show off the cars a little bit. So from the air ride systems in the Mustang to the McLaren with its high note revving, everyone was having a lot of fun. I don't know if the residents in behind all of the exhausts were having the best time, but even some of the locals with their farm trucks and straight piped exhausts and no mufflers and glass packs, like pretty funny, maybe in a gun rack or two in the back window, but all in good fun. Unfortunately though, the call did come in and we had to go pick up Ryan's car, so fortunately because we were going to get going again, but also unfortunately because we were having a blast. It was just fun to be with, you know, people that were genuinely excited to have us there and us enjoying the energy they were sharing with us, so it was a good time. So shout out to Malad City for having us.
And the pizza stop. Because we remembered.
And what did the sheriff do to give us the final send-off?
Oh, he was so fantastic. He piloted us, what is the word?
Yeah, he piloted us, he led us.
It was dark and it was late and there's emergency vehicle only U-turn spot that we needed, would have been really convenient for us to use, so he was so nice and led us through there so we didn't have to go like an extra 45 minutes.
Yeah, because if somebody catches you using that and you're not an emergency vehicle...
And we were warned ahead of time from another officer that if he caught us doing it, we would be in big trouble.
Yeah, so we followed the rules because the officer let us, so thank you, Sheriff from Malad City or County or wherever you exist today, thank you very much. But it's going to be a long drive from there, 2-3 hours at least, if I recall properly, to the hotel. Really, nothing was recorded because it was pitch black outside, and I think I just have us pulling up to the hotel. So we'll see that part, and then we'll talk to you about the next morning.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all that matters.
So the next morning we're leaving the hotel because we have an appointment to get new tires. We say our goodbyes, we head to our appointment, they get us in right away. And then as my car is getting worked on, Ryan and Cash show up. They let us know that Walmart, where their car was, remember there's only a couple places in this town on that day that could get tires for people.
I think it was like a Saturday or...
Yeah, but either way, the choices were very limited. Walmart didn't have what they needed. Bago Tire didn't have what they needed. And no, it wasn't the size that I had just purchased. Otherwise, I would have let Ryan have those. His needed to be very specific because his vehicle is all-wheel drive and he would do damage to his drivetrain if he was to put a size too large or too small on his wheels. So he had to wait for a very specific set. Bago Tire could get them, but they were going to have to be overnight shipped. So they had to stay an extra day. Really though, once you leave Idaho Falls, everyone kind of goes their own way because some people live in Edmonton, one guy Fort McMurray, some people in Calgary. We live in province beside Alberta, Saskatoon within Saskatchewan. So everyone kind of goes their own ways. I can tell you though, we saw a lot of beautiful scenery on the way back. Encountered all 4 seasons of weather, it seemed like. Well, at least 3, we didn't get some snow.
Yeah, we didn't get snow.
But it was a good drive back. As I'm talking, I'll kind of play a little bit of that as a bit of a montage and maybe give you a little segment here as well. So we get to Medicine Hat, Alberta. We get fuel, we go check into our hotel, and we think the adventure is over, but the punishment never ends.
We're so close to home.
At least for us. So it's the next day now, and we're leaving Alberta, driving towards Saskatchewan, so we're driving east. We're 2 hours from home. I see a police car that has somebody pulled over, probably for speeding. He's issuing them a ticket or a citation for my US friends. He looks at me as I'm just driving by slow, as I'm supposed to, and he just stares, and I knew right away, he's looking at my tint. And I see him staring at me, and I can't remember if his radio was here on his hip, whatever, he's like, you know, talking about me to somebody else down the road. They are targeting me for tint, like really? And sure enough, I'm a good boy, I'm not speeding, you know, I'm probably driving another 10, 20 kilometers or whatever, 15 miles, and another cop coming towards me just sees my headlights, BMW headlights, pretty recognizable.
Purple car.
Turns on the lights, pulls me over, and well, I'll let you hear the rest. Couldn't get home without a tint ticket.
Sure.
Thank
so
you.
The reason for the stop is the tint on your front side windows, $115 fine, paid on or before October 18th if the payment option's on the right.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, sir. Oh, yeah, I do have a question.
Yeah.
So I noticed somebody was pulled over for speeding back there.
Okay.
And then that officer, he like really like was watching me. I wasn't speeding. I passed him, you know, the way you're supposed to when somebody's pulled over. Did he radio ahead to say there's a car coming with tint?
We're communicating.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We're people, right? I just try to understand the psychology of it all.
You betcha.
Because if I was an officer, I'd probably do the same.
Fair enough.
Be like, BMW coming inbound, tint.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks.
So I got another tint ticket. That's pretty familiar if you've been watching this channel for a while, especially the vlogs. But, you know, I got ganged up on. What can I say? I don't think it's right. I think they could have used their resources better. I even asked him point blank in the video if you couldn't hear it. I said, did he radio ahead to you to pull me over? He's like, yeah. And then, well, I played nice because I was hoping, you know, not to cause any problems. I don't think adding friction to the situation is usually the right thing to do. But that really brings us to the end of our video. It's uneventful from there till we got home. This was part 3 out of a 3-part series. We will do what?
Link the videos in the description below.
Yes, they'll be there for you. So if you haven't watched them, definitely check them out. But if you like today's video, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you want to see more of Mrs. Dawn's life. And we'll talk to you next time.